Hmm. Where do I start with this? Now, to say I've had a bad 24 hours would be something of an understatement. It all started off yesterday morning when I was unloading the shopping from my motorbike, and I made the mistake of leaving the front gate open, which normally isn't a problem, but on this occasion it was, because two of the dogs decided to make a break for it. Now, I was due to go out on another expedition for an hour or so, so I just left them to it. And in fact, it wasn't until I was riding away from the house again that I noticed they were out and in the road. So anyway, I went off and ran my last errand, and an hour later I came back, and one of them was hanging around outside the front gate. So that one got back in again, okay, but the second one had just disappeared without trace. So I set off and looked for it, and I rode around every street in our village, Anoop past Golfville. Couldn't see it at all. Went back home and had fond thoughts that it might have been run over and I'd never see it again. You may have seen my previous post on this subject, but to say that I hate those dogs is something of an understatement. Anyway, the afternoon wore on, and then Noy phoned me, and I said, yeah, I'm fine, but I've lost one of the dogs. It's gone. I don't know where it is and whatever. And she was obviously concerned. And so I thought, well, I'd better go out and have another look around. So I went out and had another look around, and nothing. And so I thought, well, bugger it. I'm stressed out myself now, so I'm going to go out and have a few beers at the evening time. So I went and did that, and I came home and made myself some food. It was after dark, well after dark by this time, so I went out again in the dark and rode around. Nothing. And rode around until late at night. Couldn't see anything. So naturally I wasn't sleeping very well, so I did go to bed and catch a couple of hours kip, and very early this morning I was up again, and 7 o'clock I was out on another ride around, and I finally found the bloody thing at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was hiding under someone else's car a few streets away, So lucky for me, the lady that owned the car came out at that very moment and wanted to drive the car away. So I told her to be careful. There's a dog underneath it. I didn't say that it's not my dog. They're not my dogs. But anyway, I guided her off the damn thing, and she drove away. And so I picked it up and proceeded to carry it back to the house, though, because there's no way that it was going to go on its own accord. And, it started yelling and screaming. It was terrified because probably knew what was in for it when it got back. But everyone started to come out of their houses looking at this, listening and looking at this dog that was being tortured to death. They must have thought I was killing it or something. It was making such a hell of a row, and I was getting breathless and whatever. It's a heavy dog, and I'm not as young as I used to be, so I was wondering if I was in imminent risk of a heart failure myself, and it was yelling and screaming and whatever. But I finally managed to get within sight of our house, and then it bit me on the hand. Where are you? And I got it inside the house in the end, and then started to weigh up the consequences. The consequences, of course, being rabies. So I got my friend here, Char, to run me to the local hospital where I had an injection for rabies, I had an injection for tetanus and some antibiotic tablets, and I've got to go back for, I think, 3 more visits. So to say that I'm not best pleased with that effing dog is a complete and utter understatement. But I'm stuck with them, and so what can I do? I'm now in the same situation and full of a anti-rabies vaccination and a few thousand baht to the poorer, all because of them. And I'm really, really not happy. Oh, and in case you're saying, oh, why do you hate them so much, Graham? It's because they killed my fucking dog. That's why. I only ever had one dog. It was their mother, and they killed it. And so that is why I hate them. This was my dog, Pepsi, and their mother. A nicer, sweeter little lady you would never wish to meet. But Pepsi's daughters were much bigger than her, and so they ganged up on her. And first they ripped out one of her eyes, and then on a separate occasion they just out and out killed her. And here you can see her being buried. She's now underneath a new house. There were 3 daughters born to Pepsi, and one of them, who I call Ugly, is actually not bad. It's got the same kind of sweet disposition that her mother had. But the other 2 I call the Toxic Twins. They are both mange-ridden pieces of shit, and this is the offending article here. Oh, and another thing, as well as everything else, the goddamn dog was out all night. So the chances of it being screwed by one of the neighbourhood mangy curs is pretty high. So it's got to go off to the vet and have some kind of injection to stop it from getting pregnant. So something else. My God, I hate those dogs. So anyway, I'll see if I can enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.